We'll start lying on the back, so you'll come into your feet about hip-width distance apart, and then whatever way you can either hold onto your knees and gently just roll back down onto your back here, and allow your hands to come up towards the sky. And we'll take a few deep breaths here, in through the nose, and exhaling out through the mouth. And then seeing if there's anything you can do to get a little bit more comfortable. Perhaps you wiggle your hips back and forth from the right side to the left side. Because this is a restorative class, perhaps you close your eyes. And really what we're doing here to begin with is getting a sense of experiencing the back from the back side, or experiencing the back with it being against the floor. So we want to find a way to really engage perhaps we even tuck the tailbone up towards the sky as if you had a tail and it was coming between your lower legs and pressing your lower back onto the floor. So today's sequence is going to be a restorative rest practice for addressing joint pain, but particularly in the hips and the back. So we can press, by pressing the lower back into the floor, we'll breathe into the lower belly and feeling the breath filling up. And then on the exhale, releasing the back from the floor, and then just notice that natural tilt that happens to the pelvis, where the tailbone tilts down and the belly raises up towards the sky just a little bit here. And then we're going to, you can place one hand on the belly and one hand on the heart. So it's sometimes easier to place the left hand on the belly and then the right hand on the heart, just as far as space is concerned, or into the middle of the chest. And then when you're ready, just taking a nice deep exhalation out the mouth as if you're blowing out candles. And then on the inhale, breathing, raising, allowing the belly to fill up, and fills up. The ribs knit up in the center, filling up. And then the breath comes all the way up onto the hand on the top of the chest. Holding there for a second, and then when you're ready, just releasing and sensing how then the hand raises back down towards the heart, the middle of the ribs knit together, and then the belly comes back down. So you just play with this a few times at your own pace. First filling up, when you get there, the belly from the middle, and really thinking about like a balloon, the belly filling up, and even experiencing the warmth of the hands on the body, the ribs as they rise up, the air as it comes all the way up into the armpits, the side of the neck, and then blowing that air out the mouth. So any tension, any stagnation in the body. And we'll try that one more time through breathing in through the nose, filling up middle, or bottom, middle, top of the lungs, and then exhaling this time out the closed nose, out the nose, closing the lips. So we'll start to think about the breath as we observe it here, counting in the 3 belly, 2 the middle of the ribs as we inhale, 1 as we reach the top of the lungs, and then exhaling 4, 3, 2, 1. As we exhale out the back of the throat, tightens just a little bit and creates a little gentle snoring sensation. So again, just taking this at your own pace, wherever you are is fine, but taking that nice deep inhalation to the bottom, middle, and top, and then compressing the throat, and feeling the hands as they lower back down towards the spine. And as you take a few more rounds here, we're giving the body the biofeedback of the hands, so we're telling the body and the nervous system it's okay to calm down from our busy day. It's okay to come into this state of restorative rest. And seeing if you can even extend your inhalation just another, go a little bit slower, like you're just sipping in, relishing the breath, maybe even flaring the nostrils as you inhale. And then compressing the throat as the air leaves the rib cage and the belly button then lastly comes back towards the spine. Beautiful. One more breath like this. It doesn't seem like we're doing a lot, right? But we're really just trying to use this imagination of breath, and then it's not just the imagination, you can feel it with the hands. And then allowing perhaps the exhalation to get a little bit longer, maybe to a 4 count. Beautiful. Releasing and letting this go. Walking the legs all the way down and out. The hands coming up toward above the head. You can either grab a hold of your elbows or you can place the hands in prayer position up above the body. I like grabbing onto the elbows here. And then putting both feet so that they're making one tail, pressing both feet together here. And then we are going to breathe into the chest here. And especially if you're holding onto your elbows here, you're really going to get the sensation of the rib cage opening up. Breathing into your nice proud chest here. Allowing the breath to flow like a wave on the inhale. And the breath to flow out. The way the ocean ebbs, flows from shore. Just starting to gain a relationship with the breath in this same manner of observation of the breath and its qualities as we inhale in through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. Beautiful. Here, now you can point your toes if they're not already pointed, and walking your feet over towards the bottom right side of your mat. So you might inch the right foot over, then the left, then the right, and the left. And as far as they can come towards the right corner of the mat or the environment where you're lying. And then, if you're not grabbing hold of your elbows, I would invite you to grab a hold of your elbows now. And then you're just going to gently walk your right elbow down towards your right side. Or kind of making a banana shape, so the whole body will be curving towards the right-hand side. And just take it really gentle. This is a pretty big stretch here. So even if someone was looking at you from the outside, it might not look like you're doing all that much. You might even just be 1 centimeter to the right with the hands and 1 centimeter to the right with the elbows. Taking a deep breath here. And noticing how the breath really begins to fill up the left side of the lungs. And as we've created that relationship with the belly button, noticing the belly as it fills up here, that slight compression on the right side, belly button comes back towards the spine, and then releasing the hands back to center, releasing the legs back to center, and we'll take the stretch on the opposite side. So now walking the left feet over, the left toes, the right foot, edging it over to the left corner of where you're lying on your mat. Taking one deep inhalation and exhalation. You might even, if you're pulling up on your elbows, get the sensation as you lift on the elbows, maybe you get another centimeter of height here. And then on your exhalation, just gently curving the body to the left-hand side, curving the upper body. So you might even lift the head up off of the floor just an inch or two and kind of nod your head over, lifting it so that the hands can curve towards the left side in your banana shape. Inhaling here and exhaling. Both feet are pressed together, grabbing onto the elbows. Experiencing that breath in the right hand, the right side of the rib cage. And we really get to experience the intercostal muscles, those little tiny fine muscles that are between the ribs here. So with each inhalation, seeing if you can fill up this right side of, perhaps you could think about it, the belly like a balloon, and the rib cage like a balloon expanding. And on the exhale, noticing how there's that slight compression in the left side of the body. Beautiful. Walking the feet back to neutral center position and noticing the difference just by releasing the feet, and then lifting the head up off of the floor an inch or two or a few centimeters, and then walking the head back to neutral. Releasing the hands down and the arms up towards the sky. We'll take one breath here, inhaling in through the nose. 3, 2, 1, and exhaling out the nose. 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Now lifting up both legs so that you'll grab a hold behind your legs here. We're just going to give ourselves a little rock and roll. So grabbing back behind legs. If it's comfortable, you can grab on the front of your shins. And then just really subtly, perhaps to start with, maybe you're just rocking back and forth onto the right side of the hip and then the left side of the hip. The right side of the hip and then the left, alternating back and forth. Just massaging out the lower back. And noticing if you're holding on to the shins or holding on to the back of the legs. Maybe you can even draw up a little bit, flattening the lower back on the floor. Lengthening out the lumbar spine a little bit here. And using the strength of the hands to really press the legs, the top of the quads, the thighs into the rib cage as you continue just to rock back and forth here. Already coming back to a place of stillness. We'll lift the right leg up into the air and placing the left foot down onto the ground. You can grab a hold of behind your left thigh, your right thigh here, or whatever leg you have up in the air is fine. We'll get to both of them. And if possible, grab the hold behind. You can grab onto the side of your pants. You could grab onto behind the thigh if that's comfortable. If you had a scarf or even your blanket, you could even hold that and make a little levy for behind your legs. And think about the foot as if it's flexing, and then we'll point the toe. We'll flex the toe and point the toe here. So just as we're getting the stretch on the back of the leg, also getting a little bit of mobility and opening up the synovial fluid in the ankle and through the toes. Pumping blood back from the feet in this elevated pose, back down the leg, down towards the pelvis, and back down, back to the heart. As you're pumping the ankle back and forth. And then giving it a nice circle in a 360, circling in one direction. Noticing what's happening with your inhalation and exhalation. And then switching directions. Beautiful. You can close the eyes here to experience the body from the inside out. Then crisscrossing the right shin over left thigh, inhaling the left leg off of the ground and grabbing a hold between the legs. The right hand comes between the legs and the left hand comes behind the thigh into this figure 4 pose. And again, keeping a nice 90-degree angle in both ankles as if you're pressing into a wall. And here I invite you to, again, if you'd like to come to that nice little rock and roll side to side. Experiencing the breath. Really breathing deeply into the lower abdomen. Beautiful. And then releasing the arms, letting the left foot come back down onto the ground. Open up wide towards the side. The right foot comes back down onto the ground, or whatever foot you're letting go of. And then inhaling your opposite foot back up into the air, pressing that heel up into the ceiling, grabbing a hold behind the leg or perhaps on the side of your pants. And inhale, using the strength of your arms here. You can keep a little micro bend in the knee is fantastic. Really good for the hamstrings here. Or perhaps if you'd like a little bit less of a stretch, you can just hang out here. And then coming back to pumping that ankle, flexing the toe, pointing the toe. Using the flexion and base of the foot to pump blood and lymph back down the leg and back towards the heart. You might even get a little faster with the pumping. And then when you're ready, rotating in one direction, circles with the foot. And noticing as you circle with the foot, make sure that the leg isn't circling, that it's just the ankle and the foot that's rotating here. We really want to open up fluid and then switching directions, especially if there's any stagnation in the ankle joint or elephantitis or anything like that in the foot, really just allowing those fluids to naturally move back in this gentle way by pointing and flexing the foot. And then circling. Beautiful. And when you're ready, exhale, crisscrossing that the opposite shin, the left shin, I'm on the left, over your thigh, the opposite thigh. And then on the inhalation, inhaling the leg up towards the sky, the right leg up, both legs up. And then grabbing a hold, placing the left hand between the legs here, and grabbing behind the right thigh, if this is the side that you're on. And rocking and rolling side to side here on the lower back. Noticing as you are grabbing a hold behind the thigh, can you release the shoulders away from the ears a little bit here? Getting some beautiful length in the side of the neck. Feeling the spine even getting a few centimeters longer here. Beautiful. And then releasing that wiggle if you've not done so already. And then gently pulling back on the back of the thigh, really gently, very, very gently. Or even just the thought of the invitation of moving the thighs closer to the belly. Inviting the breath into the belly, noticing if you can feel that expansion and contraction as we let the belly nice and loose and free here. And then on the exhale, releasing the legs down, back down towards the floor. The heel comes down to the ground. The opposite heel comes back down to the ground. The feet are hip width parallel. Beautiful. And the hands, palms facing up towards the sky here. Taking one deep breath into the abdomen. middle of the ribs, up into the chest. Beautiful. Next, we're going to move into a little modified bridge pose. So placing your elbows on the side of your body, up in robot arms. So the hands are facing up towards, the palms are facing towards each other, towards the middle of the belly. The elbows are pressing towards, right towards the side of the ribs. And we're gently going to press into the feet, and then on your exhalation, we're going to prepare all the air out of the body, and inhaling, pressing into the feet, lifting the tailbone off of the floor very gently, and then on the exhale, releasing the tailbone. We'll try that again. Coordinating breath and movement, inhaling up, tailbone comes off the floor, pressing into the elbows, maybe another few inches off the floor here with the lower back, and then exhaling back down. Try that again. Knees slightly pressed in towards each other. On the inhalation, lifting tailbone off the ground, lower lumbar spine, and then exhale. Tailbone comes back down. Okay, one more time at your own pace, inhaling up, peeling the tailbone off, pressing the thighs up towards the sky, and then on the exhale, releasing the tailbone back down towards the ground. Noticing if you can release any tension that might have crept up into the neck or the jaw. Just taking a nice relaxing breath here. You can release the arms down to the ground, palms up towards the sky. And we're going to try that again this time, but with a hold. So on your inhalation, inhaling your robot arms up, palms towards each other, pressing into the heels, activating through the quads, lifting gently the tailbone off of the ground, peeling the tailbone and the whole spine off of the ground, inhaling up, and then pressing the hips up towards the sky. If this is comfortable for you, you can stay here for one breath. And if not, you can go back to the dynamic movement of inhaling the tailbone up and exhaling the tailbone back down. And if not, releasing the tailbone back down if you are in your hold. We're going to work up to holding into 3 breaths here. So then again, pressing the feet in, pressing into the elbows, inhale, lifting the tailbone, the middle back comes off the floor, chest rises towards the ceiling, chin rises away from the chest, feeling it in the glutes here. One breath here. Inhaling through the nose, and on the exhale, gently, you could even exhale gently out the mouth. Okay. And then we're going to try just one more here. Inhaling all the way up. And taking 2 breaths here at your own pace. I promise this is the most active thing we'll be doing the whole class here. And then releasing slowly, peeling the spine back down onto the ground, releasing the tailbone, the lower back peels off the floor, and then the arms come back down. Beautiful. You can pump the hands here if you're getting any tingly sensation in the hands or in the arms. We're just working these radial nerves that are in the body, so it could be common that you have a little bit of sensation, or you're opening up energy channels in the body. So one more time here, inhaling the hands up to robot arms, fingers spread wide apart, rotating the shoulders up and down and back, raising the chest up here, pressing the feet into the ground, and then preparing on your inhalation. Inhale, peeling the tailbone off, the middle of the back off, and perhaps breathing all the way up into your lungs here. For 3 breaths here. Coming back to that oceanic sound. Perhaps repeating the little mantra, I am strong. Noticing if you can relax any muscles in the face, jaw, eyes. And on your next exhalation, gently releasing the tailbone down towards the ground. Beautiful. And then letting the legs come all the way down towards the floor and lying in this resting pose or savasana. So feet hip width distance apart, hands spread out towards the sky. And then placing one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Noticing if you can identify the beating of the heart here with your next breath. Beautiful. Now, countering that stretch, we're going to again lift both knees up and grab a hold of the shins. And this time just letting them come out wide. So you could even grab a hold onto into what we call in yoga, this is dead bug pose. So the knees open up wide, wider than the hips. The bottoms of the feet shine up towards the sky. Grabbing a hold around the outside of your feet, grabbing a hold of the arches of your feet. Or if it's more accessible to you, you could also grab a hold of the arches from the inside of the feet. The feet are pigeon-toed outwards, toes pressing out, and then using the weight of the hands and the arms to release the shoulders onto the ground. You might even just slightly rock back and forth on the pelvis here, breathing into the belly. Noticing what's happening with the mind, if you can call it back into the intention or the attention of the breath, perhaps using that oceanic breath or ujjayi breath, inhaling in through the nose, and then when you get to your exhale, the gentle exhalation out the nose, as if a baby snoring. Beautiful. And then letting go, releasing the arms, releasing the legs back down to the ground. And then here, opening up the arms wide to a T position, a Texas T position. And then inhaling the right knee up. And you'll move over towards the right knee, will fall over to the left side of the body. And you can lean over towards the left side slightly here. But at the same time, you're trying to keep both shoulder blades or both shoulders as much as possible on the ground. So we're really just initiating this, this roll or this slight stretch or bend from the pelvis area. So the lower spine will come off the floor, perhaps resting the left hand on the outside of the right thigh. And then turning the head towards the right side if that's comfortable towards you, and looking over towards the right palm. Getting this nice stretch. If it's too much to hold onto the thigh, you can just let that left leg hang down towards the ground, or even if you had a blanket or a pillow, you could kind of prop it up underneath your right knee here. Really elongating through the fingers. Lengthening out the breath. And then on your exhale, releasing that, allowing the right knee to come back towards the center, and then switching, the right leg comes down onto the ground, holding onto the left shin, and then with the right hand on the left shin, gently inviting the left leg to come over to the right side of the body. The left arm open up towards, palm open towards the sky. Breathing deep into the bottom of the belly. You might notice the stretch coming up, especially the back side of the quadriceps, all the way up into throughout the side, and even how those muscles from the lower legs tie into the lower back and pelvis. Wherever you're experiencing tightness, really using the breath. We use our focus here in yoga by expanding the breath inhalation and using that concentration to send the breath to the area that needs it in the body. So using our power of observation to gather the information with compassion, using the breath to release, especially on the exhale. You might exhale out the mouth if you're feeling any extra sensation or stagnation. And then on the exhalation, releasing, the leg comes back, left leg comes back to the center line of the body. Exhale, releasing that leg down. And when you're ready, we're going to roll over onto the front side of the body. So in whatever way you can get there, gently allowing yourself to roll to the front side of your body. And making a pillow with the hands, you're going to place your right cheek onto your hand and just lying gently here, experiencing the breath now from the front side of the body. Inhaling and exhaling. And then on your next inhalation, we're going to come into a little half frog position. So you'll inhale the right leg up to a 90-degree angle. The foot comes out to the side here and releasing the lower back this way. So the right foot is bent and then you're looking over with the eyes closed over the left shoulder. This creates a nice release in the lower lumbar spine. Seeing if you can get back in that experience of the breath coming out of the belly, the middle, and the upper ribs, and then noticing it as it leaves in the same way. And then on your next exhalation, releasing the right foot back down, switching the head over towards the neck so that the left cheek now looks onto, and the eyes look over to the right side of the shoulder, the right side of the body. Taking one inhalation in here. Seeing if you could perhaps even take the deepest breath of your day here. And maybe even sighing out on a ha sound. Try that again, inhaling and exhaling on a ha. And when you're ready, bending up the left leg to a 90-degree angle. The foot is also at a 90-degree angle. To your half frog position here. So finding this diagonal of the head to the right and the foot out turned to the left, foot and knee. This becomes a really good massage for the digestive organs as well here. The fuller that you can breathe into the lower and the deep belly here, the more that we're really massaging all of these organs on the front side of the body. While simultaneously making space in the lower spine. One more inhalation and exhalation here. And when you're ready, releasing the leg down straight, and we'll press up, just gently walking the hands up so that the elbows are underneath the shoulders. The palms are pressed and the forearms are pressed into the ground. The feet can be as wide apart as they need to, especially depending on what's going on with your lower back here. And we're just going to inhale the chest up proud into this Sphinx position. So seeing here, instead of sinking into the shoulders, if you can inhale the shoulders up, rotating the shoulders up and down and back, creating some more length in the side of the neck here. Breathing into your nice proud chest. Palms pressed into the ground, elbows pressed into the ground, poking out your chest, while simultaneously making sure that you're released through the buttocks and the hips. You're not gripping through the buttocks and the hips. You could even just rock the hips back and forth onto the ground here a little bit to make sure you're in the lower lumbar spine. And then going back to rotating the shoulders up and down and back, breathing into your proud chest for one more breath here. Inhaling and then releasing on the exhale. The arms coming out and rolling back over to your backside. Fantastic. We're going to come up into, in what I can, come into a slight forward fold here. So coming to sitting up here, legs out in front of you. If you have your blanket, this is a good time. You could roll it up and place it your thighs, or if you have a pillow or a bolster, you can place it on top of your thighs. And on the inhale, inhaling up nice and tall, breathing into your proud chest, and on the exhale, just inching the fingertips forward, spidering them forward towards the ground. And wherever they release or relax, you might only be an inch or two forward here. Closing the eyes, the head, and the neck to just release forward. We're using the weight of our 20-pound cranium to gently invite the front body to release down towards the ground. Also really important here, keeping a micro bend in the back of the knees. So a slight bend in the knees. You don't want to think about the legs being completely straightened out. The knees are slightly bent here. Toes spread wide and far apart. And on every inhalation, feeling the belly as it presses into the thighs, pillow, blanket, whatever is in front of you. Feeling that expansion in the back of the breath. On the exhalation, perhaps you can walk your fingers another few centimeters forward. On your next inhalation, you might even inhale, rotating the shoulders up and down and back, taking some little shoulder circles here. In one direction, getting a little synovial fluid into the shoulders, and then switching the other direction and shrugging them forward. And then releasing that and inviting the fingertips perhaps to spider a few inches closer towards the calves, ankles, perhaps feet. And really just Staying wherever is comfortable for your body here. Most importantly, breathing into the back body, breathing into under the shoulders. Allowing the body to melt in and soften. Beautiful. And on the exhale, walking the hands back up and then coming all the way down into your final relaxation pose or shavasana. Place the blanket so feet are be hip width distance apart. Placing the blanket over you. You can make a little burrito for you. The arms will be out towards the side, palms facing up. You can even walk your right shoulder blade under a bit and your left shoulder blade under a bit so that your proud chest can come up towards the sky. And then we'll take 3 deep inhalations here. So inhaling in through the nose. Exhaling out sound. Releasing, seeing if there's anything else you can do to get in 10% more comfortable. Inhaling in through the nose. Exhaling out. And the next inhalation, inhaling in, just gripping your toes, gripping your face, gripping your making fists, perhaps even clenching your buttocks here. On the inhale, and then on the exhale, release the hands, release the feet, release the legs, and let it all go. Beautiful. We're just allowing the breath to come into its natural rhythm here.